Howdy folks, welcome once again to 101 Proofs of Bullshit. Let's see, where did we leave off? We left off at 52. 53. Bible says there's a perfect amount of water to sustain life, blah, 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 blah. And in 54, it says the earth is designed for biological life. Well, I don't believe that that is a scientific claim. Granted that it's perfect for us, but then again, why don't we think of it like this? We are the result of the environment we're in. Simple as that. That is just as plausible as the God-man made the earth for us. So, they cancel each other out. Alrighty. Let's see. Number 55. Spread the heavens. Well, I think he spreads the heavens. He's talking about the initial spread of the firmament. That doesn't make sense at all. Okay, 56. Biogenesis. That's an old description. Only current life comes from life. So that doesn't cover that. What that does is it gives a biblical explanation for it, but it does not give any sort of scientific fact because it's not a scientific fact. Let's see. No such thing as speciation. Wrong, we've seen it, and that's just arguing against science, so that's not a scientific fact. Light travels a path, number 58. Well, I read the passage and it was inquiring where it came from. So that's not a scientific fact. Weight of the winds. Well, let's see. Lighter than air, or light as air, and heavy as water. And that's essentially what that passage is talking about. It's kind of like the same thing as the tightness of the Pleiades, which is a cluster of stars. That's an actual constellation, and Orion's Belt, which is a constellation as we see it from the northern hemisphere in the southern sky. So that doesn't work. I think I covered that before, or I covered all the stars before in my one of my first videos. Let's see. Oh, number 60, talking about the jet streams. Didn't wind change direction back then? I believe it did. And that's what it was talking about in that passage, is the wind changing directions. So that's kind of stupid. Let's see. Number 61, talking about medical quarantine. Okay, I'm going to have to put a link up there. Let's see. This term is commonly mistranslated into leprosy. But what the Hebrew word was Tzaraath. Tzaraath. It was not leprosy. It affected primarily the affected person's skin, but sometimes his clothes and or his house. It is traditionally believed to have come not through natural means, but as a punishment for sin, and to have been cured not through natural means, but through repentance and forgiveness. There are no reported recent cases. So it doesn't talk about leprosy. It was a mistranslation, and that's the only thing it talked about. For medical quarantine, yeah, whatever. And if somebody sinned to get this, how could he be contagious? That's a load of bullshit. Okay, let's skip on a little bit further here. Number 70 says that pleasure is a gift from God. That's a very flimsy translation, and evolution has nothing to do with emotions. So, that's out of here. Number 90, animal instincts explained. All it does is just says that God did it. Everything else is observable. It was observable back then, so yeah. Animals have no conscience in number 91. I'll tell that to my dog, who is depressed when his kitties are away from him. Those are his best buddies. And, is really excited when I come walking in the door. Do you think that's just mimic behavior? No, that's emotion. And emotion is one of the key characteristics of the conscious mind. So, there you go. Number 93, science confirms the Bible. Go to the... it just goes on to battle between religions. I don't want to even get into that. Except that you're all wrong. And it's talking about Christ, not science. So, get over yourselves. Let's see. Conscious explained as God-given in 94. That's purely a religious statement. Love explained as God-given. Well, that's purely a religious standpoint. Cause of suffering. That's... no, that's purely a religious statement. The reason for death. That's purely a religious statement. Justice is explained. That's purely a religious standpoint. 101, solution to suffering. Purely a religious standpoint. So, we have gone through that bunch there. Now, there's a bunch in the 70s and 80s, and a few in the 60s that I gotta go after. But we're going to wrap up this 101 proofs of bullshit, and we are going to show Venom Fang that his site is a load of fucking bullshit. And it has no scientific relevance whatsoever. Okay, there we go.